Welcome and welcome back to Triple S Reviews. Today we're point by point reviewing and breaking down episode 5 of Star Wars Skeleton Crew. Spoilers ahead, let's begin. Point number 1.
Don't let anyone see it.
Proceeds to leave it out in the open for anyone to see it. It even has a flashing light to draw maximum attention. I mean, cover it with some papers or something, man. Point number 2. So now we officially learn the name of the ship, Onyx Cinder, and the name of 33's old captain, Tack Renard. Renard could be named for Richard Donner, Renard is Donner backwards of course, who directed and co-produced The Goonies, a movie about a bunch of kids and a family of criminals racing against each other to find the hidden treasure of the legendary pirate One-Eyed Willie. Not gonna lie though, I'm a little disappointed to find out 33's former captain's name is Tack Renard, as I was hoping it would instead be something that was a play on Flint, just like how Jod Silvo sounds like it's a play on Long John Silver. Point number 3. It turns out 33 doesn't actually remember how to get to At-Atin. I guess him remembering At-Atin in the last episode was just him remembering it's actually a thing, and that he was ordered to murder anyone who got him to remember that it is actually a thing. Point number 4. So rather than heading to any of the other jewel planets, finding its respective supervisor tower, and reading the coordinates to At-Atin from the pillars located in said tower, that is all presuming At-Akron wasn't just a one-off in having the exact same buildings as At-Atin, that the other supervisor towers also contain pillars with coordinates to the other jewel planets, and that Tack Renard and 33 didn't take the time to destroy the coordinates to At-Atin on all the pillars on all the jewels, like viewers of the show pointed out, including myself in my previous video, would be the most logical thing for Jod and the kids to do next. The kids and Jod instead choose to head to Renard's secret lair where 33 says his former captain will have stored At-Atin's coordinates. A decision that you might not consider logical but definitely falls into the realm of fantastical, which fits better in my opinion since stories about hunting for pirate treasure are often fantastical in nature. And of course the genre of Star Wars itself is sci-fi fantasy. Point number 5. If you're enjoying the video so far, give it a like to let me know, and if you're interested in seeing more then make sure to subscribe and ding the bell. Point number 6. Does Skull Ridge Mountain make anyone else think of Skull Mountain, the Six Flags roller coaster? I wonder if giving a location in Star Wars a similar name to a theme park competitor's ride was looked at and approved of by the Disney higher-ups or not. Point number 7.
Stabbing him with his own dagger.
So, is the skeleton pinned to the wall with a big-ass knife the remains of Captain Renard? If it is, and 33 knew this was how Renard died, then why didn't he question Fern's story of stabbing him and throwing him out of an airlock? Did he somehow not recognise the skeletal remains of his former captain? Or did he just go along with Fern's story because he was that desperate to have a captain? Point number 8. Did it throw anyone else for a second when Wim said he misses both his mum and dad, before he corrected Jod that he wouldn't be seeing his mum at all? Like, my mind started racing, wondering if this was going to be one of those rare instances of parents being separated but not by death in a Disney property. The way Wim says he won't be seeing his mum though does heavily imply she is deceased, but who knows? Maybe she's just a bad mum who doesn't care about seeing her kid, or maybe she can't be visited for some mysterious reason. Point number 9. What Jod says to Wim here is just even more evidence that Jod has either undergone some Jedi training in his life, or is at the very least knowledgeable of Jedi teachings. Jod telling Wim to forget about his parents because you shouldn't have attachments is a warped version of the Jedi teachings of letting go of attachments when the time comes. Like when you and old friends have drifted apart, or when a loved one has died, or when you let go of any possible attachment you might have to your parents when you're inducted into the Jedi Order as a youngling, which is what Jod might be referring to when he tells Wim that he himself chose to forget about his parents. Also, Jod's line of,
"Your focus determines your reality."
Is something Qui-Gon Jinn said to Anakin Skywalker in The Phantom Menace?
Your focus determines your reality.
It's pretty impossible Jod could have learned this directly from Qui-Gon, so it most likely was just a general Jedi teaching. Point number 10. I wonder if Jod or anyone else in the know is ever going to clue Wimon into the fact that you don't have to be a Jedi to be able to use the Force. Point number 11. Is it just me, or does Wim in his disguise look like Davy Jones from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies? The pirate hat obviously, but the fabric hanging from his face down to his waist and its colour resembles Davy Jones's tentacle beard. Point number 12. Oh hell yeah, that's Kelly MacDonald right there playing Pockets. Most people will probably recognise her voice from Brave, where she voiced Merida, but I recognise her from when she played Carrion Park in my favourite episode of Black Mirror, Hated in the Nation.
I didn't expect to find myself living in the future, but here I fucking well am.
Which also starred Faye Marsay and Ben Miles, who played Vel Sarther and Tay Colmer in Andor respectively, and also Duncan Powell, who played Rue Scott Melshi in both Andor and Rogue One. Point number 13. The name Dash Zentin immediately just makes me think of the character of Dash Rendar, who was introduced in Star Wars Legends with the Shadows of the Empire multimedia project back in 1996. And he has actually been introduced into canon via the Solo, a Star Wars story Tales from Vandor book, which was released in 2018. In both canon and Legends, he's a smuggler who pilots a YT-2400 light freighter, just like how Han Solo is a smuggler who pilots a YT-1300 light freighter. Point number 14. I wonder why KB says she can't go down into the spa. Is it because, like Fern says, her cybernetic attachments will actually corrode from the steam? Or could it be something else, maybe related to her medical condition in some way? Could the next episode be KB centered and focus on her medical condition that finally starts causing her problems? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Point number 15. Oh wow, dude, I hope that server the Hutt eats is okay. That's probably why they had him saying,
No, no, sir, not again. No, 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 please, no.
This has happened before, and he survived, so he should be fine. Hopefully. Point number 16. If you're wondering why it doesn't make sense Jod could be Professor Umium Gorlox from Scipio, that's because Scipio is the homeworld of the Mune, and the headquarters of the intergalactic banking clan, and Jod doesn't look much like a Mune to me. Point number 17. So it's not just Captain Silvo, it's Mad Captain Silvo, and yet another one of his names is Jodwick Zank. Jodwick Zank? Seriously? Jodwick? That sounds like someone Hodorified John Wick down into Jodwick. Point number 18. Well, that just seems highly convenient that twisting that one nut made those pipes explode in such a way to knock the security guys off the walkway but not pose any danger to Jod, KB and Neil. Point number 19. Just like with Jodwick Zank, Cathalops? Are you kidding me? That's like something someone would come up with when they couldn't remember what the hell Cthulhu was called. Cthulhu, Cathalops? Why don't you Cathalop on my dick? Point number 20. With this being Star Wars, it's not that much of a criticism to call out that there's power down in the maze of tunnels, as evidenced by all the lights, the laser decapitator and the anti-grav field. But what I will call out, how Tak Rena's lair has never been infiltrated and plundered since it was left abandoned. Like, this being Star Wars actually now bolsters this criticism because you could just send down hundreds of droids to find the correct path. Use special equipment to drain away the acid and then just laser or blow your way into the pirate's lair. Or circumvent all of that by using mining droids to dig a tunnel under the lair and come up through the floor. That is, after you've done a more futuristic and technologically advanced version of a ground penetrating radar scan to determine where it is. I get it being in a rocky cave is meant to be like a pirate hiding their treasure in a cave on a deserted island, or like the Room of Cups and Goblets in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, but logically Tak Renaud would have secured all his ill-gotten booty,
or his ill-Butungati,
in a room made from the strongest metal he could get his hands on, and that was hidden from scans either naturally or technologically. Point number 21. This guy getting shot and then floating up to get impaled onto a whole bunch of spikes is pretty gnarly. It's not the gnarliest thing we've ever seen in Star Wars, granted, but in terms of this show, it hasn't been that violent so far. So seeing this happen was really kind of shocking, not gonna lie. Point number 22. Am I going insane? Why do these lights look like General Grievous's eyes? Point number 23. I mean, even with the acid drained, it isn't completely dry, so shouldn't the bottom of everyone's feet be disintegrating right now? Point number 24. Just like everyone's favourite pirate Hondo Onaka, Tak Renaud is a weequay. Evidence? Assuming the skeleton pinned to the wall in the onyx cinder with a knife is Tak Renaud, since that's what 33 said had happened to his former captain, he got Michael Myers'd by his concubine. The skull of that skeleton appears to have jaw horns like a weequay. The eye sockets match that of a weequay. The skull thrown in Tak Renaud's lair is the skull of a weequay, and freeze framing through Tak Renaud's hologram, you can even make out that he has jaw horns. Everything points to Tak Renaud being a weequay. Point number 25. So the mystery of the treasure on At Atin is solved. It turns out the entire planet is an Old Republic mint and the treasure is the money they produce, which also confirms the other jewels must have been doing their own thing, had their own great work, and that they weren't all the same as At Atin, they weren't all mint planets. Point number 26. I like that Jod has known he could throw down this challenge against Fern anytime he wanted and 33 would have had to respect it, but he only does it now after he's found out the coordinates to At Atin and had it confirmed by Tak Renaud himself that the treasure is real. He's just been stringing these kids along, but now he's shown his true colours, a black flag. Point number 27. I feel like there might have been a bit of a slip up in the choreography here. Either Jude Law raised his hand to force block too early, or Ryan Kira Armstrong's second swing was meant to be faster. Either way, it just looks off to me. Anyone else? Point number 28. Good thing Wim didn't activate the lightsaber right into his leg, holding it upside down like that. At least it would have been better than if Luke had turned his dad's on when he was looking down the barrel of it, so to speak. Point number 29. I can only assume when Neil almost fell down into this trap earlier, Wim must have gotten a look down into it and saw it didn't lead to certain death, because if he didn't, this was just another reckless move from brainless scarecrow Wim. Point number 30. Oh heck yes, please give us some Jod lightsaber action in the next episode, please. To round all this off, my most disliked part of the episode goes to the fact that Tak Renaud made his lair and stored his booty in a cave. Doing this in Star Wars is the real world equivalent of hiding your cash in a shoebox rather than in a metal safe. And my most liked part of the episode goes to seeing Kelly MacDonald playing a character in Star Wars. I loved her in Black Mirror and it's awesome to see her here, but I'll be disappointed if it's just a one-off. Like how the character of Melna only appeared in episode 2 even though she seemed to have recurring character energy. I just hope Pocket wasn't melted to death in acid and shows up again in the future to try and murder Dash Zentin. Thank you all for watching Triple S Reviews. Don't forget, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like to let me know, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe and ding the bell. I also have a variety channel where I post a variety of different videos. If any of them interest you, check them out. I've been Triple S, you've all been amazing, and I shall see you all in the next video.